Hi everyone, I'm Keerthana Rao, a senior test automation developer at Odido. I have over 5 years of experience in media domain now, and my work mainly focuses on API testing, building and maintaining automation frameworks, and ensure that CI/CD pipelines run smoothly. I'm really excited to be here today and be part of this presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wisman. I also work as a senior test automation developer at Odido. I've been doing this for 5 years in the media branch. I'm mainly responsible for coordinating internal and external test activities in relation to the media domain. Prior to this, I've also worked in other industries, but I can honestly say that working in media has been the most fulfilling and the most exciting this far, especially in comparison to the other domains I've worked in. I'm very happy to be here today and to share some nice stories about the things that we've been experiencing. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Martin Tyler. I'm head of the quality engineering team at FX Digital. I've been involved in test automation really for my entire career, starting off in automotive, then moving into aviation and finally connected TV. I think everyone thinks about those first two industries and thinks, oh, that's quite impressive that you managed to automate in those. Actually, connected TV is way more complicated to automate in. There's just so many different devices and the devices are locked down. Just getting the information off the device is a challenge in itself. And I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about what we've been doing with Odido.
Indeed. So as Martin briefly hinted at, TV viewers today, they expect something very simple yet demanding at the same time. A flawless experience, and they expect it anywhere, anytime, and on virtually any device possible. If you think about it, that's a huge promise to deliver on, because we're speaking about thousands of devices, millions of users, and everyone is expecting a premium experience whenever you initiate a device and press play. So at a scale like this, quality isn't just optional, but it is essential in delivering a seamless experience to every user. And that's exactly what we strive for at Odido. We are one of the leading telecom and media providers in the Netherlands. We provide fixed access, mobile, and TV to millions of customers across our country. For us, end-to-end real-world quality is essential in delivering the high standards that drive strong NPS. However, as many of you likely know, the media domain poses challenges unlike any other domain. And we are operating in a landscape with much device fragmentation. We have a lot of different operating systems, and we're also dealing with performance variations, like differences in performance behavior with the components associated in the ecosystem as a whole. In turn, you see that it is highly complex to test real-world quality at scale. And you could have automation in place, very mature automation in place, but it will still be resource intensive and time intensive to conduct tests across such a vast ecosystem. So you will see in practice that this will negatively affect the deliveries of new features, or how bug fixes will be delayed, and as a result, this will negatively affect release confidence and release cycles as well. And this was not in line with the level of excellence that we envisioned at Odido. So we knew that something had to change. And we realized that we needed a smarter, faster, and more scalable approach when it comes to conducting tests in the TV domain. So after embarking on a rigorous and extensive RFP process, we ultimately decided on FX Digital to help us surmount these challenges. And we chose them not solely and purely for their high aptitude in automation technology, but equally, if not more important, we chose them for the people behind the tech. through TV experts who genuinely appreciate the complexities in the TV domain, and a team who shares our commitment in delivering the best possible experience for each and every single user.
Well, yeah, so I wanted to first of all introduce you to FX Digital. Some of you have probably heard of us and some of you probably haven't. So we're the front-end connected TV experts, and we have lots of different services around connected TV, from strategy, project management, product and design, engineering, and the two things I'm really here to talk to you about today is quality assurance and quality engineering. We have two quality teams, and that's because we've got two sets of things that we do. The quality assurance team, they are responsible for actually carrying out the testing, writing the test cases, and performing both manual and automated tests. And then the quality engineering team, we're responsible for building the test automation tools and technologies that the quality assurance team use. And together we provide testing as a service services to Odido and others. So yeah, you can see here on the screen some of the clients that we work with. Odido, a client that we just do the testing for, so we do the testing as a service for. Same with Permutive, but we also do development services as well for the likes of BritBox. We did a lot of stuff with Discovery Plus and lots of other ones you can see on the screen there.
Yeah, now let's see the benefits we gained working with FX Digital. First, we can now test on more devices. We are no longer limited by the size of the physical lab, so our test coverage is broader than before. Second, we can scale quickly. Adding new devices is fast and simple, which keeps us in sync with the market. Third, we are more efficient. Repetitive tests are now handled by automation, so our teams spend less time on manual work. Fourth, our quality has improved. With wider coverage and early detection, fewer issues reach us to our customers, supporting Odido's goal of a better customer experience. Finally, there is a strategic upside too. With testing as a service, we don't need large in-house physical labs anymore. This reduced cost, simplify operation, and support our ESG goal by using less space and energy. So overall, automation and testing as a service just didn't fix our challenges, but also changed our testing model and prepared us for the future.
So you're probably now all asking, how do we do this and how do we deliver this automation testing, but not just automation testing as a service, because manual testing is also really important. And at FX Digital, we don't believe that a one-size-fits-all approach works for all customers. We want to tailor our services to each individual customer. And we do that first of all with what we call the onboarding audit. And that's where we sit down with the client over the course of a day. We talk about the challenges and roadblocks that they're facing, like what's working well with their service as well, like what do they, or their current testing, and what's working well with it and what do they want to keep, but what challenges are they facing and what do they want to overcome by having us as a partner coming on board. We talk about the success criteria, and it's not just the success criteria for a good application for them, but also what is a good service? What does a good service look like for them? Because it's slightly different for every single customer. We talk about the ways of working. We've got like a standard way of working that we have and we kind of present to customers, but we don't want to just be a service running alongside a customer. We really want to be an extension of their team. And so we modify that way of working to each individual customer, and we really, I hope that you agree that we've become an extension of your team.
For sure.
Yeah, and we want to understand the application release schedule as well. You know, we need to write a test plan that really works with that, and yeah, so that we can really provide the best services to our customers. Once we've gone about doing that, we create the test cases. So first of all, we look at the existing test cases if a customer has them, and we prioritize those. You know, a test case where the login doesn't work, you want to prioritize that over just a small look and feel test case. That allows us to run those high priority test cases first. We have a combination of manual and automated tests. We talk a lot about automated tests, but manual is just as important, and we don't feel that automation is going to completely replace manual at any time. We write all our test cases in Gherkin syntax. So you can see up on screen an example there of Gherkin syntax. And it's like a human readable programming language almost that allows us to, you know, if we modify that, we can automatically push that up to test case management tools. So we're not in a situation where what's on the test case management tool doesn't actually match what we're testing. And it's probably a good time for me just to talk a little bit about our technology as well. We started to build our technology about 4 years ago or 5 years ago now. And we built that internally, first for internal use, and we then rolled that out to all of our internal customers. And then after that, we were like, well, we want to carry on scaling this. There's a need for the market in it, so we started to operate that as testing as a service. And I think that's what makes us a little bit different, is because we've not set out to build a product. We've set out to solve an internal problem that we've then started to offer out to other people. Once we then have got all those test cases, like what do we do with them? Now, some customers, they want us to test every single day. Odido didn't want us to do that. They wanted to do a release-based testing. So what do we do for every release? Well, the Odido application is a real feature-rich application, and they continue to add more and more features to that as well. So it's important we keep our test cases up to date. We write, both a mixture of manual and automated test cases for those. Automation tests are then run, starting with those P0, those really high important test cases, and it's only once we've got those agreed that we then go to Odido and we say, yeah, the P0 stuff's passing, shall we proceed with the rest of them? Because, you know, if there's a P0 test case failing, we want to know really quickly, right? We need to know about that. We then carry out those manual tests, but we're not just shifting, you know, all of that information across the fence to our customers. We're looking at those, we're analysing those results, and we're giving them the analysed data back. We give them reports, and the reports are another thing that we talk about in the audit, where we customise those to our individual customers' needs, and we present those back to them and share those reports back so they can share it out internally as well. And what's the result of that? Well, right now we've got around about 90% automation coverage, and that's, you know, we're really, really happy with that, because as I say, it's a really feature-rich application, so to be able to hit those numbers is really great. We're testing across 33 devices. Again, Odido supports a wide variety of devices, and that means for every single release, we're testing 31,000 automated test cases with our automation framework. So it really gives you guys the confidence to do a release, right? And now I think we could probably stand on stage all day, right, and talk about the lessons we learned and the lessons we've learned over the years. But I think the number one for me is media testing is a specialist discipline. You know, there's lots of frameworks out there designed for web and mobile, and they have CTV kind of bolted on afterwards. That's not who we are at FX, and I guess that's not who you are at Odido as well, right? So yeah, we want to really focus on CTV first. Equally, fragmentation, I'm sure everyone in this room is really aware, fragmentation is a real problem. You know, you've got so many different platforms, so many different devices, and when a customer wants to, you know, replace their TV in their lounge, they don't just throw it away, they move it upstairs, and then they expect the app on their flagship brand new device to work exactly the same as the TV upstairs. So yeah, it's really important. And John was on stage from Consult Red earlier, and he was talking about how the memory, the cost of the memory is going up and up, and that actually means that people are getting less inclined to replace those devices. So we're probably going to see this getting even worse, with people keeping devices for even longer.
And another lesson that we have learned is that as the automation suite continued to expand, it also enabled our teams to spend their time more efficiently and more wisely, and also really focus on other high value tests that complement automation work. So we see this, for example, in the way that they now spend more time in conducting tests in the exploratory realm, or doing tests for very complex user journeys, or other forms of tests that don't necessarily lend themselves very well for automation. And this applies both to the functional domain and the non-functional domain. You also see it in how they approach very critical edge cases and edge scenarios. Also, you notice that we now spend more time automating across the integration layer, so that hopefully less issues end up in the end-to-end part eventually. So those are some real benefits. Another benefit is that our testers also have more time to focus on other tests that lend themselves better for the human senses. So conducting tests for a video or audio quality analysis, for example. But perhaps the most important change wasn't in a technical way, but it was more of a cultural shift, I'd say, where you notice that our testers now have more time to think about how they will approach testing. So they really shifted from kind of treating it as a execution afterthought mode of thinking to a strategic quality engineering mode of thinking, where they really try to embed quality in the product and early on in the process, like through the end-to-end chain, basically. And they really try to focus on ensuring that issues do not even turn into defects, basically, and testability and observability, basically. So this shift in thinking has probably been one of the most valuable outcomes of this journey, and that really shouldn't be underestimated, because when people grow, quality grows alongside them as well. So that was a huge benefit.
Yeah. Also, we learned that the right partner helped us to grow faster. It's hard to find a real testing as a service experience in media domain. Working with a provider who understands both technology and how media team operates helped us to learn faster and achieve the results quickly. Next, our quality got better because we increased the coverage and stayed consistent. We tested on more devices and followed the same automated approach every time. That reduced surprises, improved stability, and gave us more confidence every time. Finally, we proved the values by measuring it. We tracked the KPIs like execution speed, device coverage, defect trends, and release readiness. These metrics made the value clear and guided our next improvements. So in the end, with the right partner, consistent automation, and clear metrics, we reduced risk and released with much more confidence.
Then in closing, together with FX Digital, we were really able to shift or convert a wicked problem, a evolving problem, into a way of operating where we can now deal with the complexities ahead of us in a more sustainable way, more future-proof way. And as we continue to go ahead and as the ecosystem continues to evolve, we will now do our best also in unison with FX to focus more on predictive quality and smarter automation and utilizing deeper insights, AI-driven test intelligence to make sure that we are more ready for the future and that we can also make sure that we can handle risk patterns before they even materialize, basically. And then in conclusion, we'd like to share a few words about our collaboration, starting with Keerthana.
Yeah. The FX Digital team modernized our TV device testing. We are now running automation on wider range of devices without expanding or maintaining a larger internal lab. This reduced repetitive regression work and made it easier for us to scale our coverage. The team has been very proactive, flexible, and dependable with clear commitments and consistent delivery. Thank you.
And what I truly appreciate about working with FX Digital is the sheer amount of passion they put into every little thing they do. And it ranges from the smallest details and it spans into the broader strategic vision as well. And you can see it in the way that they have designed the framework, and you can see it in how they operate it at scale. But most importantly is that you can feel it in the way that they collaborate with our teams, because they don't just execute, but they really proactively think along. They really do their best to think alongside us, and they share this sense of commitment, of shared ownership, all with one common goal: to make sure that we deliver the best possible experience to our users and to build something that we're proud of. together. Thank you.